live. Oh, notification on my phone. Persistent Bookworm is live.
Is it live? Hi, everyone. I don't even know how many people we've got here. It's not telling me anything anywhere.
It never does tell me anymore.
Okay, it's just decided to stop. That's fun. Oh, no, there it is. We've got people here. Oh, I should probably turn my emails off so I'm not getting notifications. I am very organized today, as you can probably tell. This is going to be slightly all over the place because I was saying to Lisa before, I don't really have notes because I listened to this audio as an audiobook whilst I was packing and unpacking. But it is the third time.
It's not like you're moving or you've moved, is it?
Not at all. But we have a smash in the comments. Yet to finish my reread, but as it is a reread, I'm joining because I very much enjoy this series. I have got a I still haven't finished reading through it all, but Smash sent me all of her notes from when she was reading the third book because she was doing it as a buddy read with somebody, and then and she was just sort of spamming the comments. I think she put it on like a Word doc or something, not notes thing. And she was like, somebody who's read it and just sent them to me, and I'm like, oh, there's so many thoughts. There's definitely a bit in the middle where she just goes to watch Spider-Man and start talking about that instead.
I can't wait to get to the third book so I can see these notes.
Yeah, they are fun. How are you both today before we actually start talking about the book?
Good. I've been listening to Aragon, which is an experience.
I'm in a Chinese food coma.
I haven't yet.
I will be. After this. I have barbecue ribs, which I'm not going to pick up because they're sticky.
Oh, but we are here to talk about Aurora Rising.
My book is in the other bedroom. In the other bedroom? In the other room?
I like that we've got a standard edition and a Lumicrate edition.
And I was aesthetically pleasing with the pink
tab. I love that. I saw that on your wrap up.
Yeah, they weren't colour-coded.
You can just see the darker pages on mine.
You can kind of see them on mine.
Yeah.
Not on the camera, but on here you can.
So I'm saying hi.
Hi.
Got Ashlog. I was very excited about going to see Spider-Man. I don't know what to tell you.
Another cinematic masterpiece.
Correct.
For anyone that doesn't know, we were talking about Revenge of the Sith.
And Empire Strikes Back. So, before we go into spoilers, which will probably happen fairly quickly, what were everyone's... Well, let's go with star ratings first.
Mine would be a 5. I think I said in my vlog that it was going to be a 4 because it was kind of like quite slow to start with, but just like for like the last 100 or so pages, I was like, nah, this is a 5. Okay.
See, this one was a reread for me because I've only ever read the first one before, and it was a 5-star the first time, but back then I didn't use like core pile, so I was like, is it still going to be? It was still a 5-star.
Yeah. For me, this is the third time I've read it because I read it originally, then I reread it because I put off reading the second one until like the third one was about to come out. So I reread them and did them all in one go. And so this is the third time I've read it, and every single time it's got a 4-star from me. Because it does just read like, I still enjoy it, but compared to like, I think the last time I read it, I'd recently reread Illuminae. And like compared to that, Meg was saying on my vlog the other day, so it just feels like a little bit juvenile compared to it. Like I know it's YA, but the like that, and then obviously we've read Nevernight and things like that. Like I just prefer the ones that are a little bit more complicated. I do enjoy it, and when it gets the ending of all 3 of these books, really always like ties it together and like makes me like it more. Because until that, it was probably like a 3.5, and then it's gone up to a 4. No. But we'll get to the ending in a bit.
We won't. The ending didn't happen. We're not. We're not. It didn't happen.
It did.
I think my rating was a 5. If not, it was a 4. 5-star gripped me from the first page. Ooh. I checked. It was a 5. I gave it 5 stars this time. First time I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it so much more this time for some reason.
Some books are better on a reread.
Well, when we speaking of Illuminae before, like that was a 2-star for me the first time I read it, and then a 5-star the second time. So it's fine.
Definitely. Oh god.
Has anyone got any sort of non-spoilery thoughts, just in general?
Space Legolas. It's a yes from me. I approve.
See, I always found Cal to be one of like the characters that I didn't love as much. I just found him a little bit boring.
I just think he's just so like. I think also because I do kind of like, fated mates, like the whole like that kind of thing. I do, and as bad as it sounds, I like the whole like fixation thing.
This was literally, I was having this conversation with Meg the other day. Like, she likes that because she likes all soulmate trope. So yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite character then, actually? Going right in with the hard questions. I feel like it's an ensemble like sci-fi group. We need to have a favorite. I have a very clear favorite.
I mean, if we're gonna go from like start to finish, who had the most page on page like not action, like who was on page more, I'd say Finian out of everyone. But I do really like Cal just because he's so blunt and he gives me very much like I don't know, I just think he's great. And also Space Legolas, I want those eats.
He is on the cover of the next book.
Oh, he's so pretty.
I kind of Finian, but also I relate to Scarlet so much.
She's a badass.
One of my first notes was just, I relate to Scarlet with her needing caffeine. And that was page 45.
Yeah.
So my favorite without a doubt is Finian. Like, you're both like, maybe Finian, I love him so much. But my other favorite is Scarlet. Like, she's one I'm like, I do like her though. And especially as the series goes along, I do like Scarlet.
I loved Finian from the moment he came on page, just because I listened to the audiobook as well. He's so sarcastic, like, yes, sir. Like, you can just imagine him being like, of course, sir.
But this is also why I like Scarlet. Like, I just like them both because they're both so like just full of like sass. It's so good.
And you got Cal who's just like totally oblivious to anything that is not just straightforward. He's just like, what? No, like, I don't understand.
I'm here so you guys can remind me what happens in this book so I can try and join him for book 2. I mean, there are recaps available online as well. I want to send it to you. I love that up until not long ago, Space Legolas wouldn't have been quite Lisa has only recently watched Lord of the Rings, for anyone who doesn't know.
And this is why we're getting her up to date with all the things we have like grown up with, so she can get references.
Well, speaking of things we've grown up with, one of the things I do like about this book is that it's Firefly. It's like it's everything about it is Firefly. Like they find a mysterious girl who's got a bit of a backstory. If you've seen the film for Firefly as well, Serenity, like the storyline is fairly similar. Like, I'm not saying that maybe the fans of Firefly, but like there's quite a few similarities.
You're making me want to rewatch Firefly.
I mean, never a bad thing.
I mean, it's on the list.
It's very easy to rewatch.
It's on the list. It's on the ever-growing list of things that I need to watch. Look, I was a closeted geek for the majority of my life. It's only since meeting you guys that I've been allowed to let my geek flag fly. So I'm just taking all of this in, just 20 years too late. But it's
better late than never.
Yes, and it's a massive learning curve.
When I reread Illuminae, like that one reminds me of Battlestar Galactica, and it's great because they're two of my favorite sci-fi TV programs. So I'm just like, I love that these things, and I do feel like they probably are. Like knowing that like J. Kristoff is a fan of Buffy as well, like it makes sense.
Yeah,
it really does.
I would like to say though, I didn't know who Legolas was before watching Lord of the Rings because Google exists.
But it still wouldn't have had the same impact.
No,
like, you didn't love Legolas until you watched Lord of the Rings.
True.
It's just, I actually wrote a note for this. Who is this Legolas you speak of? Also, can we appreciate Ori? Worrying she'll never know what happened on her favourite series. That's a move.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would really be like, but I don't know how this show ended or this book series ended. No.
It's bad enough when something gets cancelled, like halfway through.
Yeah.
It's like knowing that it did end, but you can't. But you can't.
200 years ago. But that was such a typical teenage thing. The one she woke up and she was just like, "Oh my god, he's hot." It was like.
But I think that's one of the things that I didn't like about it as much as that at the beginning, I'm like, oh, they are very much teenagers and this is stressing me out a little bit. And then once it got into more of the sci-fi, like they're actually like a proper team going out and doing things, when it was sort of mixture of Firefly and Star Trek mixed together, that's when I'm like, oh, I'm here for this. So Scarlett and Finian are Ash's favourite characters as well because she has good taste. Just I love a sassy so-and-so.
Yeah.
Recaps are fine, but otherwise I'm going to let you guys read me, so I don't have to read anything. Nice.
You're okay.
Firefly. I do love it. It feels very Firefly. Mm-hmm.
Now I want to watch Firefly, but I've got too much to watch. I'm going to watch. No, Phantom Menace is next.
But it's so good. I just realised how much it resembles Firefly.
I was going to say, but if you want to get something ticked off your list quick, watch Firefly, because then that's off your list because it's so little, unfortunately.
You will cry. We'll just warn you. Like, there is no doubt. I cry. I cry hearing one particular line from the film.
I don't think there's anything on Lisa's list that she won't cry at.
But if I cry, she will cry.
It's true.
Like, I'm scared.
Everyone knows who Legolas is because he's a beautiful elven god.
And I have a type. Long hair, pointy ears.
You know what else would be quick to get off the list?
This.
Right.
Jesus.
I feel like we should just go straight into spoilers because I feel like everyone in the comments has read this book. So let's just go into... 1 second. Yes, I think you probably do. If you were to put a leaf emoji in the comments right now, I don't know how I would feel.
You know she's going to do it now.
Chloe's going to cry on camera. Woohoo!
I won't. But I do want to watch Firefly. Literally my first note on here, we've already talked about it says, reminds me of other sci-fi, Firefly and Star Trek. It's very much like just, a ragtag band sort of thrown together and get on with it.
See, the only sci-fi I've watched like today at the moment, like I watched Stargate SG-1 when I was with my dad. That was like a band of people thrown together, but there was no from what I remember, there was no funny guy in that. I've never watched an episode of Star Trek, so sci-fi as a genre in like is still pretty new to me. I've read a couple of bits here and there, so this was a nice introduction into more.
And it is very much like a stereotypical, not in a bad way, like it's a stereotypical sci-fi type thing. Like I was saying, like the other one that it reminds me of is Star Trek is because Tyler is very much a Captain Kirk type figure. Like he's a very charismatic leader of the group. Like everyone sort of is supposed to be like the best one in the academy and all that sort of stuff. But then things don't quite go right. That is very much what happens in a lot of sci-fi things.
I can imagine though that I would be very much like Finian if someone like Tyler was my boss. I'd because he's very not Scarlet. He's like the twins, but they don't have the same personality. She's very free, and he's very by the book, and feels like he has to prove himself. So I can imagine that if that situation happened with me and I was thrown with someone who was like the golden boy or whatever, I'd be very much a Finian in that situation. I'd be like, yes, sir. No, sir. 2 bags full, sir. You're golden boy.
But I feel like it's a nice balance though as well, because it's sort of if you do just have the main character just being this person who is very good at what they do and everything's sorted out really easily, it's not going to be interesting. So you kind of need that person to be like, do we really have to do this though? So I really literally have no notes, so I very much do not. If anyone has anything in particular they want to talk about, feel free. The only thing I do have actually that's probably to talk about in terms of obviously, I know you have read Nevernight before, but we've just read it. Have you noticed in this book that J. Kristoff does love a world-building device? In the same way, in Nevernight we had footnotes. In this book, we have Magellan. Like,
I'm actually gonna say, like, this is one of my favorite things because it like info dumps without feeling like it's just info dumping.
And the thing is, some people love that and some people hate it. Like,
I loved it. It was like a little robot device. It reminds me of again, like new gen Pokemon where the Rototon talks to Ash, and I'm just like, oh my god, that is so cute. And she's like, shut up, quiet.
Or if you're old school, just the Pokedex.
Yeah, the Pokedex. Yeah.
I do love it. I think it worked really well in the context of this book in particular because it is sci-fi. Like, a lot of the world building is going to be sort of like the more technical stuff, so it's easier just to have like something like that coming in and breaking it down. Again, when we get to sort of Illuminate, there's versions of doing that there where there's sort of, rather than just having you read pages and pages of like the technical stuff, they have interesting ways of getting that part to you instead. And I think it works for that. I very much would like to see, like, I know obviously this has got Amy Kaufman in it as well, so it's slightly different anyway. Like, from what I've heard, she does do sort of regular world building in her other books. I would like to see J. Kristoff write something where he doesn't use a plot device like that in a way. He still has it in Empire of the Vampire as well, because it's like, oh, well, tell me a story. Tell me as if I've ever heard this before. And it's all like, I just want to see him write a book where he does have to do a proper bit of world building. And
I wonder if his Deviant series, like Lifelike and that, has that, because I've not read any of those.
Yeah, I've not read that one, and I've not read the Lotus Wars.
Yeah, I've not read that either.
No. But one thing I did notice as well, and I think I messaged Chloe about this, the Brother Mine.
Yeah.
I was like, please, this cannot be another Marius and like situation. Please, no. She's like, no, honestly, it's not. That I was like, thank you. As soon as I saw Brother Mine, I was like,
he just has phrases that he likes to put in for as well. That's another thing actually I did have on notes. I tried to look this up and I can't find it anywhere. I'm very intrigued to know what their writing process is. Because, like, when you've got joint authors, everyone's got a different way of doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I know that, like, for example, you've got, well, like for this one, you've got it's multi-POV. So the likelihood is that they probably split the POVs between them. And it's different people writing different ones. And you can probably get maybe writing which one. But when you've got like someone like Christina Lauren, for example, which is a writing duo, like that is, most of those are told from like one perspective. So they literally write the book together. And I don't know how that works. Like, I don't understand how you would actually be able to sit and like put that together. So I'm just very intrigued to know what the writing process is for these, but I looked up to try to find like interviews with them and they've just never really said.
I can't remember what authors it was, but there was authors that I saw them and they were talking about it because they had like written a book together, and they were saying that what they would do, they would like one of them would finish a chapter and then they'd send it. It was Becky Albertalli.
I was about to say it's that because I went to their book event. It's Adam Silvera. Yeah. They'd email like, to each other.
Yeah. So then they would like jump off each other like that. Yeah. But I'm guessing Jay and Amy probably don't do it.
Well, no, I think they might do, because I think, well, from what I have heard, because Becky Albertalli's actually wrote like 2 joint books, and I think she said she did the same thing with both author, into both author events that she did with Adam Silvera and then with the other one whose name I can't remember.
I remember her name.
Is it? No.
It's Yes, No, Maybe So is the book.
Yeah, is it Aisha Saeed? Is that her name?
I think so.
I'm going to double check so that I'm not just like saying a name wrong. But anyway, but yeah, they yes, it is Aisha Saeed. I'm going to say I follow her on Instagram, so I should know her name. I've read another book by her. But yeah, what I know what's said with that is that like they would like fully plan out the plot beforehand, or at least plan out like the main points that they wanted to hit in each chapter. But then they'd sort of both have free reign of how they actually got to that point within the chapter, so that they could. It's not like so rigid, and then they basically just kind of critique each other's work a little bit, like to say that like because they had a different character each, it would be like this doesn't quite sound like how this character should sound like, and I feel like it's probably a similar thing for this. But I'm just really intrigued. I mean, if I was to guess, I would say that Finian definitely sounds like a character that J. Kristoff wrote.
Yeah.
Same vein, Scarlet as well.
The thing is, I was working this out with when me and Meg were discussing this, because we were like, whoever gets Zila as a character gets easiest chapters to write. But also, there are 7 main characters in this book. So whoever has Zila presumably would have had another character. I mean, we're in spoilers, so we can say who it is, but presumably would have had another character who is not going to be in the rest of the series. So, just to make it even, then when it gets.
I'm sorry, she comes back. Okay, it's gonna happen. Resurrection trope. Sorry, I say I hate that trope unless it's a character I like. I'm like, bring it back. Bring it back.
From the way Lisa just described them with the Star Trek talk, I'm now thinking of Tyler as the original series Kirk and Scarlett as alternate. Okay, I like this. I mean, I can see that. The Liveshow series, if I remember correctly, is pretty standard. I read the first 2 a while back. I'm intrigued then with that one because I just want to see him try it.
But the one thing I will say about like the writing style and stuff is that I think I don't know if it was you or Meg that said it, but you can the whole big bro, baby sis, whatever, big sis, whatever, like that whole the way that they acknowledge each other. I'm like, that's not how siblings talk. No. I don't. When I'm talking to my sister, I'll go, "Oh yeah, big sis." Like,
I do know siblings that do. I don't. I do know siblings that do.
Yeah.
Was you that said that you could tell that they're only children because they do that? Was it Meg that said that?
I think it was Meg.
Yeah, because it kind of does give me that vibe, like they don't know how to talk to a sibling, so they're just like, oh, let's call him big bro or little bro, and like baby bro or whatever. But it wouldn't be such a big thing. And I've said this before, once I notice it once, I notice it all the time. And it wouldn't be such a big deal if it was just done like once or twice. But it's almost every interaction they have, it'll start or end with like baby brother or baby bro or and that bit does get a bit like, I really wish I wasn't the kind of person who picked up on these things and then they were just there. I wish I could just forget about it, but I can't. And every time it happened, I was like,
Let's see what works.
Speaking of things that once you've heard it, you can't like stop thinking about it. How did everyone read this book? Did you read it physically, or did anyone listen to the audiobook?
Audio.
So how do we all feel about the accents in this audiobook?
Fuck my face. No.
It's just every time someone tries to do Kat's accent, I'm like, what's it supposed to be? And then it finally got to a Cat chapter and you're like, oh, Australian. That's what we're aiming for.
It was so strange because at first, when we first hear her voice, she's talking and I think it's one of Tyler's chapters. And she sounds Cockney and I was like, oh, right, okay. That's fine.
She sounds Irish at one point as well.
She sounds like Irish at one point. She sounds a little bit Scottish. And like certain words that she says, I was like, could you not have just... I was like, please don't give me Into the Crooked Place again. And it kind of did give me that vibe. The thing about this is that the writing was a lot better and the story was a lot better and it made a lot more sense. So this is why I got a 5.
Hey, look on the bright side. You haven't got any Cat chapters in the next...
I was gonna say, as you messaged me about the voices, and I was at work, so I messaged Meg on Teams, and I was like, "Oh, Lisa's complaining about the accents in his book," and Meg literally went, "Well, she's not gonna have to listen to that accent in the next one, is she?" I was like,
"She's gonna come back. The hive mind is not gonna be a thing. She's gonna miraculously heal, and then she's gonna turn up in book 2 and be like, "Hi, Tyler. We were in love this whole time. We can now be together." Fuck off, J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, for taking away Cat.
That is actually reminding me of something I do want to talk about. I'm just going to go on comments first. Lisa saying bring him back now as me singing S Club 7. I always think about stuff like that in the vein of they only have each other, so it feels like they cling to the only family they have, so maybe that's why they refer to each other as baby bro, etc. Yeah. Fair enough. And also, like, the other thing to remember is that it's not supposed to be set like in our world, so you don't actually know. People could talk completely different and you wouldn't know. Like, no. That's something I actually wanted to mention. So when I first read this book at the very beginning of it, it seemed straight away like it was going to be, because it was YA as well, and you're getting introduced to these. You've got Tyler as your main character, Ori's on the front, so she's clearly very important in the title. It seemed like it was automatically going to set up as Tyler and Ori being the romance in it.
Yeah.
What do people think about the romances, and like who do you think is like sort of, because there's some that you've seen, and there are going to be more that progress throughout it. So what are you thinking at the minute, and who should be with
I
who?
want the space. I really thought it was cute. Like I said, I love the whole fated mates thing. And like he's not supposed to be into humans, but he's got this attraction to her. And I'm just like, maybe she's not fully human because obviously things happen and wagwan. And she's so adorable.
I will say I have some people with tattoos of Beshmai because it's just cute.
But I was like, oh my god, is Finian queer? Because obviously he's like, oh, I have both, and I was like, yes, Finian.
I'm like, yeah.
Then I was like, is it going to be a Finian and Tyler thing? Is it going to be, because before I went on, it was that it might be like a, because although I thought Kat might have a thing for him, I didn't know until later on in the book that it kind of went both ways. So I thought maybe there's a Tyler and Finian thing. And I was like, is Tyler bi too? Because I wouldn't say no to a Filer thing. Like, I've made that name up, but it's pretty shit. But I'm going with it.
Obviously, at this point, we've got sort of Ori and Cal having whatever their little thing is going on. We did have Kat and Tyler's really feelings for each other. Clearly something had happened there before, but they decided that they couldn't be together.
Tyler is a pleb.
Finian likes Scarlet but won't say anything.
Finian's adorable.
And then Zila's just there.
I think
and Scarlet's got so many exes.
Oh my god, that bit was fucking hilarious. I was like, she was scrolling through, like, can they say?
The fact that she has them all, like every so often, it's like, yes, that was X number 30 something. I'm like,
she's checking out the cards as well. Like, she is a whole mood. Like, yeah, she was checking them out for a reason, but she was also having fun.
Oh, she's so great. But I think
when she takes her bra off, and Kat's like, yeah, no. She's like, it's fine, I can do it.
It's the bit where she's like straight away she's like she's arranging the date with someone, and she's like, and then it's like someone else has to come and she's like, oh no, she's not gonna like this, and it's about Kat. It's like, yeah.
It was even gonna be Kat. It had to be Kat. Let's be real.
I remember really not liking Kat and Tyler as an option. I didn't, to be honest, either. Like I was it just felt like it was something that was just kind of forced in there, like because it had to be. Like it didn't. The stuff that is sort of built in with Cal and Ori seems like you're a lot more invested in that. Whereas I don't know if it is because like a lot of their relationship you just sort of told about after the fact.
Yeah, I feel like I like the backstory that something happened between them, but doesn't mean they have to be madly in love and end up together.
Yeah.
Well, they don't.
And also, I made a note. Cal is such a romantic, and I couldn't remember what it was, and I've just gone to the page, and it's where like Aurora says, like, I'm sorry that you don't get to choose for yourself, and his exact words: do moons choose the planets they orbit? Do planets choose their stars? Who am I to deny gravity, Aurora, when you shine brighter than any constellation in the sky?
Give me a man that will talk to me like that.
I will say one of the things I liked about the audiobook as well is that it's the narrator for Cal is Steve West, who is the same narrator as Strange the Dreamer. So it just reminded, like, when he's, I know you don't like that book, but when it's like he's saying like the more sort of like lyrical, beautiful things to her, and then I'm just like, oh, it reminds me of Laszlo. And I love him.
The thing is, like, I do, like, we all know that I'm an emotional bitch, but seriously, the thing is, if someone is like overly sloppy all the time, with me personally, it can get a bit annoying. But when I'm seeing it in another like relationship, like with Callan and Ori, I'm just like, he's fucking adorable. He will protect her. He will just, break face for her. Like, he will do anything to protect her. I'm like, get me a guy that will literally kill people for me. and then just read me some like really nice poetry, or, like talk to me like that. I'm like violent but poetic at the same time. It's like, yes, please, thank you.
In fact, I remember disliking Cat in general. Yeah, in all fairness, Cat's probably my least favourite.
Probably. Cat and Tyler were my least favourite in general out of all of them.
I feel like we didn't get enough time to get to know Cat.
Yeah, this is the thing. I will say, again, as sort of the one who has read all of them here, like, I like Tyler more as the series goes along. I feel like in this book, he is very much, like, just sort of your stereotypical sort of main guy in the group. He's the captain, all that. But he gets a lot more to do as the series goes along.
Even in this book, I liked him a lot more by the end of it than I did at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, even just in the one book.
With those sorts of characters who do start off as like sort of the star pupil type of thing, it's only when everything starts to unravel around them and they have to start questioning things that you start to be like, oh, actually, no, I like this person now. So you have to have that moment of everything being dismantled for them to actually start to like figure out a little bit more about them.
Yeah. I did like that you get like little bits of their backstory to go along, and especially with Finian, like it was like it describes each of the people to you, but then it's like he wears an exosuit, which isn't normal for his kind. So it's kind of like, why is he wearing an exosuit? And then near the end, when like he's struggling a bit, I'm just like, it doesn't really specify why he needs the exosuit, but you can kind of guess there's something like with his body that he can't like use himself. Do you know what I mean? Or that it affects him in certain ways. So I'm interested to find out more about that and like why he's like that, how he got like that. Was he born like that? Like that was an intriguing plot point for me.
I like that a lot of the characters do feel like very fleshed out. Like that you can tell that there is so much more to a lot of them. Like the stuff with Finian and his exosuit, like sort of the bits where he's talking about like how uncomfortable he is and how like he'd need to go to you need to change the gravity to be able to like decompress and stuff like that. And normally that's sort of built into the thing, and he's not able to do that.
Yeah.
Doing things. I like all those little bits where you sort of just see a little bit more of them rather than like just what's happening in that moment.
And the fact that you see like a softer side to Scarlett and Finian's relationship then, when she was like, she knew that he was embarrassed and about, because obviously he's always seen as a weakling and the last one picked and whatnot, and Scarlett had noticed that and sort of like helped him without letting everyone know like I'm helping Finian. It was just that whole thing that they had. I was just like, oh, this is just so adorable. Like I want them to get it.
I love Kat, but I never saw her with Tyler. Kat and Tyler felt like tension and awkwardness for tension's sake. Yeah. Oh wait, it's the same narrator from Strange Minds. The narrator for Cal does the narration for Strange Dream and Muse of Nightmares as well. I very much enjoy him. I think he's Meg's favourite audiobook narrator. So she will tell you many other books that he has also narrated, because if either him or Fiona Hardringham narrates them, Meg will listen to them. Pretty sure you're describing like 70% of known serial killers, but okay. I don't even know what that was about. I'd agree Tyler gets better with age. He definitely does. By the third book in particular, like, trying not to spoil things, but just like some of the stuff that happens in the third book, I love it.
I can't remember what this was about.
No, me neither.
You said about like you want a guy like that who's like like violent with poetry.
Said about the exosuit at the start of the book. I did think, I was like, I'm sure we've had it.
Oh right, okay. I must have missed that bit.
Page 43. For reference. Yes, describing a perfect mom. Thank you. So, I mean, Becky, you seem to be the one with notes. Is there anything in particular you want to talk about?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. Most of my notes are just little things the characters have done that I was like, oh, I love this.
I think that's the thing with this book, though. Like, I feel like the main stuff I wanted to talk about was just like the characters individually. Like, obviously, there is the whole overarching plot, but like even that, it doesn't really come into it until the very end of it. Like you've got obviously that, like, we found Aura. She's from the past. Like, why is she the only one to survive? Why does nobody like know where they were actually heading? Why is it sort of been erased from everything? But that's sort of like just your typical sci-fi plot, and it's like, yeah,
bad.
somebody's told, like, somebody's smuggled her away with them. They're on the run, but we don't quite know why. And then it's only at the very end where it's like, oh, actually, there's this thing going on, and the whole everything that happens with Kat. But in the middle, it is just like it's just fun times with these characters.
I was like, I love the party. It felt very like Ocean's 11 type thing.
Yeah.
Where they're like the earpieces and they're like, right, we're going to go this way while you do this to make this happen.
That bit was, I know, again, listen to the audiobook of that. I think, like, immersive reading that way is just, it's going to be the way to go for me, because, like, you get all the different personalities. That's what's sad of a good narrator for me as well. Like, it gives you all the personalities, even in a situation like that where it gets pretty tense. And yeah, and then they're like, we did it? Nope.
Violent with a side of poetry.
But I messaged thank you. I messaged Chloe at one point, because I think when everything seems to be going really well and like, oh yeah, everything turned out great, I had 1 hour 53 minutes left of the book. And I was like, I know that everything's going well right now, but things are going to go bad, and I'm scared. And she said,
the first message I actually got was when you thought that Kat was actually going to betray them.
Yes, I did think Kat was going to betray them. I was like, I can't believe Kat betrayed them. And then like I said, it did the whole Ocean's 11 thing, and she didn't really betray them. I was like, what?
The first time I read it, I thought she actually had.
Do you know what? That was the one thing I had forgotten about this book. So when I was reading it this time, I was like, wait, I don't remember her betraying them. It's because she didn't.
But there is always, like, it's sort of like, I've not read other Amy Kaufman books, so I can't like talk about hers, but it is very typical J. Kristoff. Like, you think it's going one way, and then suddenly it's like, oh no, this isn't what you thought it was.
Yeah, it just sets it up though, because like she's pissed at him, and then she's like, she's really not a fan of Oren, and when people are in that vulnerable situation, and again remembering like the teenagers and they're emotional, I thought maybe she was like, all right, this is my way out. Like, I don't want to be here anyway. Like, this is my way out. And then, when they do that whole fake argument thing, I thought they were like actually arguing, and then she was like, oh, it's fucking great. It was great. It was all great.
Well, try not to spoil Nevernight for anyone who hasn't read it, but I'm just gonna say spring loaded. Like, that was a big moment in the second book where it was like you thought it was going one way, and then it's like, oh no.
I should be used to this by now. It's not, but you know what? Like, I mean, maybe I was thinking maybe he didn't use that plot device this time, but clearly he did. But I don't like.
Just remember this every time before you go into a new Kristoff story.
So don't believe anything. I will be stressed the whole fucking time. Like, is this gonna happen? Is this like what's happening here? Is this real? Are these feelings real? What's gonna happen? I would be stressed the whole time more than I was.
Kristoff likes to give you trust issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't have enough of them already. Just Kristoff piles on. Like,
so I feel like of the characters so far, we've talked about Tyler quite a lot. We've talked about Scarlett. We've talked about Kat. We haven't actually really talked about Ori that much. Like, other than sort of like, this is what it'd be like. It would be very like jarring waking up like 220 years in the future. But like, in general, how do we feel about her as a character, and sort of like, because like it's a bit intriguing, like going along, like she keeps having these visions, like all of this, like obviously she's very important to things, but we're still not entirely sure like exactly how it's all going to play out. So how do you feel about her?
I don't know. I mean, she's intriguing as a character,
but
and I do like the whole, her with space like a lass. But I don't know. I feel like I don't know if she's good or bad.
Okay, I think that's how you should be.
I don't like it. I don't
think it's necessarily if she's good or bad. I think she seems to be like a good person overall. I think it's just because she seems to be very unaware of things. Like, you don't know if there's something else like that's in there that is bad.
It's supposed to be human, and humans are supposed to have these abilities. So like we believe that she's human, but is she not really human? And like, if she isn't human, what is she? And then there's like this hive mind that she's attached to, the fucking flowers and whatnot. I'm like, that was weird as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm never getting plants again.
See, I feel like she seems like she's very much like handling things well, and then something will happen and she'll just like have like an outburst, like, what is happening, guys, help. And I feel like that's an appropriate reaction to have for someone who's been, you know, frozen for 200 years, found out whole family's gone.
Yeah.
And it's just like, poor kid.
Yeah, very much so.
I like Corey. I like how she helps us to understand the world. Yeah, you do always need that person in any like sort of fantasy or sci-fi who has less knowledge of things, just to be like, they are the reader, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the way she swears is really annoying. I'm going to need more context on this because I did not notice.
She doesn't swear properly, does she? Can't it.
Partially, I think, because they have like fake swear words in the Illuminae series, so that they could get away with it because it's YA.
Again, I'm very used to that though, because like Battlestar Galactica is one of my favorite TV programs, and in that it's a sci-fi, and they say frack constantly.
Oh yeah.
And I like it because I'm just like, yeah. But I suppose with that, at least it's like an actual, like, it's a word that is clearly another word. Whereas, like these just sound more ridiculous. Like you should just have like an alternate word instead.
This sounds like a teenager wanting to swear without swearing.
Yeah.
But it is mentioned. It's just a cat mentions. He's like, you can't even swear properly. Like, you don't even swear properly or something like that.
She is from a different time and a different world, so it's like separating her from them.
She's supposed to be from like, obviously like further ahead than us, but like still more like towards our time than anything else. I'm like, it still feels a bit wrong.
As a teenager, I used to say things that weren't swearing so I could get away with saying it in front of adults. And it would sound stupid.
I just used to do the thing from Friends whenever you wanted to do the finger without doing the finger.
I love that. Yeah.
Mash is not enjoying this.
Into your brain, it becomes a habit.
Read your TV then, Ash. And you'll get all the swears. All the fucking swears.
I'm about to get the Sifral, and I feel that. It's fucking hell combined, yeah. So you can guess what frack is supposed to be in Battlestar Galactica. The other character we have touched on her a little bit because said that her chapters are very, very short, so you don't really know too much about her at the minute. How do we feel about Zila?
I like her.
I don't really have any thoughts about her, to be honest.
I love her so much. She's just so done with everything.
Yeah, I feel like the bit that got me though, like obviously she's clearly, I say clearly, I might be wrong. It's like she's coded autistic, but they don't really have a word for it. They just think she's quite serious and blunt. The bit that made me feel like, oh my god, this was really harsh, was when Tyler. I know he didn't say, so I said it in a mean way, but it's like you don't understand like human feelings or something. Whatever he said to her like that, like you understand that, but you don't understand people. And like she then felt that, and that made me feel really like, oh, that's horrible, because it's not her fault she doesn't understand people. Well, like, she doesn't want to. So because she can't understand people, she understands everything else. So she'll research everything else. But then Tyler, being a little fucking bitch, like flipped out at her and was like, just said something really mean. And I was like, that's not nice. Zila's not done anything wrong other than shoot Ori.
This person has done nothing bad in their life. On their team.
It was a logical, in Zila's brain, that was a logical thing. She reacts when something bad is happening. Like, but so in her mind, it's like, oh, I'll shoot her and she's going to go down.
But that is very much, like you said, the sort of coded autistic side of things, where
Yeah.
it's like, you know, this makes sense. This is going to get us what we want, rather than like but how are people going to react to that? Like, don't necessarily understand the social context of it.
When that first happened, I was like, what the fuck? And then Cal just went batshit crazy. And like, I was just like, the drama. I can imagine Finny just sat there with some popcorn being like, oh.
Only not read his first series and the last.
Reread it then, you'll get lots of swears. I adore Zila too.
Also, do you know what I've just remembered? I didn't write a note on this. You know the GIA agents with like the masks and everything? Do you know who they reminded me of? Lisa, you're not going to know this. The Knights of Ren. For some reason, I was picturing them as the Knights of Ren from Star Wars.
All right, okay, I'll find out soon. Then what?
It's just like an amalgamation of loads of different sci-fi things, and I think that is what I enjoy about it. Is that like throughout it, I'm just constantly getting different references to things. But it's like I think it's on purpose, because like in Nevernight, when you read the annotations, like the amount of D&D references that are in that book is ridiculous. The amount of like songs that like song titles that are chapter titles in that book. So I feel like probably a lot of the sci-fi stuff in this is on purpose. But
I do like the I can't remember what I was going to say. What were we talking about?
References to things. I do love that it helps me understand a bit more about the sci-fi side of things, and it makes me want to go out and watch these things. But the GIA people, they freaked me out. Like, I didn't like that they were like faceless beings, like, and there was just this like computerized type of voice. I stuff like that creeps me out, and it reminds me of Daleks. The voice wasn't as bad on the audiobook, but it very much reminded me of Daleks. Cybermen, yeah, probably, yeah. It was just, no, they creep me out. I'm never going to like them.
That is the point. So they've done their job.
It's the office.
It's not, the thing is, it's not like scary, it's just, do you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't like it.
It's that sort of uncanny valley thing, though, isn't it? Where like because it's partly human,
yeah,
it's a little bit too close, and that's what makes it.
And we're not that far away, technology-wise, from shit like that potentially being a thing, and I'm not how.
Sci-fi gets scarier and scarier every time I hear more about AI. Like every time GPT like gets more and more, gets cleverer. I'm just like, no, don't like it. No,
it's like Black Mirror. Going off topic, but Black Mirror, watching those episodes were just.
There's a new series out soon.
It was just fucking weird, and I know that it's good that he does that because it gives you something slightly relatable, and it's not for those people who can't suspend the disbelief that much. It still brings it to ground in some way, but it's. I don't like it. I
don't like it.
I don't like it, and then to find out that one of them was their dad, I was like, no.
Yeah.
You're a wanker.
I remember the first time I read it, the moment it was her like stepmom person, I was like, oh. I was like, oh no.
I don't like it.
So much yes, it does. It really, really does. There's some Black Mirror I can't watch. Something's fantastic. Yeah. I've only watched like odd episodes. Like I've not, because you can watch like, because obviously they're not connected. Yeah. You can sort of
don't watch the first episode of the first season. You'll want to watch the Prime Minister and the Pig.
Oh, I've watched that one.
No.
And the one with like the reality TV program type one as well. I've watched that. The one with the like the AI thing that like replicates somebody who's died.
Oh, that was fucking. Oh no, that was weird. That one. Never watch that again. Never. No. That's weird.
You're really selling this show to people.
Oh, it's so good. It's
good. There's an episode where literally these people live their lives by likes. And like everybody rates them in every part of their life, and if you rate highly and everything, you have the best jobs, live the best life, blah blah blah. And then like people are so eager for the likes, they'll do anything. And it was like, oh my god, why is that like real life? Like, well, that is literally social media. It's weird. But anyway.
This is the thing, it's all social commentary, so like it's too real. That's why it's like terrifying, because it's like it's a scarier version of it, but it's like you can see bits where it's like, oh, but this could happen. Like potentially this could happen.
Yeah. Oh no.
Nosedive is a rating 1. I didn't finish it because it freaked me out so much. There's something Bear as well. I've seen that one.
There's one where like there's a chip in that goes like behind your ear, and like it can record your life, and you can rewind and play back parts of your life. And it's fucking weird.
It's a beautiful episode. I'm not even trying to pronounce it. White Bear, that's what I'm thinking of. I've seen that one. I think that was the first one I watched.
They're all weird. But anyway, yeah, sci-fi shit is scary.
It is sci-fi. I find sci-fi to be scarier than fantasy, because like fantasy.
Oh yeah.
Because some people do get like when there's like, well, some people jump at like fairly like not that scary fantasy films when you go to the cinema, but sci-fi is worse because there's too much of it where I'm like this is based on science. This could actually potentially happen at some point. I don't like the sci-fi with like alien planets and stuff like that. I find less scary, but sci-fi that is like
technology,
human race has just evolved. That's when I'm like, no, thank you. Do not like this.
But like the Martian, when he was stuck on Mars, I'm like that was just like
that could happen.
Yeah, that was weird. But with fantasy, I want there to be dragons and witches to be real, like that. I want that to be real. Sci-fi, I don't want any of it to happen ever. Because I can live in that little fantasy world. I'm like, oh, I can have a pet dragon and just ride me around, and I can be a witch and like spell people and shit. That's fun. People might die, but it's all good. But yes, I don't want anything that I've ever read in a sci-fi ever to happen. Like that I've read so far, that I've been like, I started reading To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, and I definitely don't fucking want that to be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Star Trek is probably the one that I'm like, I'd be okay with this happening, just because like
I've seen it.
Well, so Star Trek is very much like it is a case of like it's set in the future and it's humans have evolved and they've made contact with other species as well, like on other planets. But like other stuff happens, but generally like most of those like films and TV shows are like sort of, it's like this is a problem of the week and then everything gets resolved and we just move on and we have a fun time.
Oh, so that was like
it's generally quite fun. Like
yeah.
Until you watch Wrath of Khan, and then it's just sad for a while, but it's fine. It gets resolved. Fine.
I don't like things like, AI and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I like it because it's interesting, and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad that this is currently fiction, but a lot of it does hit far too close. That's why it's called science fiction, and I will not be told otherwise.
Yeah, but you can have like contemporary fiction where it's like it's fiction because it's not a real person, but the setting can be real.
It's never gonna happen. And if you want to keep me awake at night with all this stress and keep telling me it's gonna happen, I'll be texting you at 2:00 in the morning being like, oh,
I am worried that the AIs are going to develop consciousness very, very soon. So sci-fi is great. It's why I love Orphan Black, which I have been meaning to watch for years, and I will watch it eventually. Yeah. I promise.
Yeah, but I don't. I like the whole found family vibe of this. I like that it gave you some of the science facts, and scientist stuff, but then also gave you the personality as well. And for someone like me who is not an intelligent person, like mixing the science with like the fun banter and people as well made it easier to digest rather than just giving me 10 pages of pure sciencey shit.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Becca. Becca's just messaged me something about Illuminate that I just didn't even put together, and oh my god, I'm so excited for you to read Illuminate.
Oh, fuck off. I'm not one. I'm sorry, Kristoffalong has ended for me now. Thank you, goodbye.
Point out that Liv has read the first Illuminate book, I think, and has DNF'd it because she was like terrified by that book. Like,
I'm out. Peace.
She said it's one of the scariest things she's ever read.
Oh my god!
It's because it's very much like an isolated setting as well. Like it's like you're trapped somewhere, so it's a little bit.
Enjoy. Curtains. Hang on a sec.
I mean, no, I don't like it.
But yeah, look at the writer's strike going on because of AI. I mean, it's also going on because of streaming services are ridiculous. But yeah. If Star Trek was real life and we got to have the characters, I would actually try hard to become a doctor so I could work with Bones and we could take over the world with sarcasm and eyebrow power. I mean, I just want, like, Spock is my favourite. I just want to spend time with, I don't spend time with all of them, but I just find him funny.
I don't know if you've watched Stargate SG-1. I'm guessing it's a bit similar to Star Trek, but they just go through portals instead of like flying around on a ship. And me and my dad used to watch that together all the time. And at first, again, because I was a closet geek, I used to watch it and never tell anyone that I watched it and really loved it. And if you ever watched an episode without me, I was like, Dad, why would you do this?
I definitely do recommend Firefly as one for you to watch, though, because Firefly is sci-fi, but it isn't in one way. Like, it is very much sci-fi. It's set on a spaceship and all this, but the heart of it is a Western. Like, it's a found family thing. It's like it's a Western in space, basically. It's very fun.
Space cowboys,
pretty much. Ash got the same message and also same. Right. Becca sent me the Illuminate cosplays. I think I know what you're referring to, but still.
Oh my god, I hate you all.
I'm going to forward you the message.
I hate you all. Because you're all going to be in the know about something else that I'm not in the know about, and it's going to... You're all going to be like, can't wait till she reads this. So, is everyone in our group chat read Illuminate then?
Yeah.
So once I get to that part, I could just whack it in the group chat and be like, you're all cunts for not telling me about this.
I think the only one that hasn't completed that series is Liv. And she's not, well, I don't think she's planning to, but she did at one point mention that she might.
Okay.
Fine.
So if you get a yelly voice message off me when we read that,
Rem is also excited for you to read it. Firefly does have a great theme tune and a great extra song that is not the theme tune.
Not gonna lie, I've turned off the auto skip on Attack on Titan because I was just sat there like.
I don't think I once skipped the theme tune to Vox Machina because the theme tune's amazing.
Never. Why would you ever want to? You just wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah.
The way Bones can put anyone in their place with a raised eyebrow is everything. The original series, Kurt, Bones, and Spock with the sassiest shits ever. Yeah, I love them so much. Oh, I want to rewatch all the original Star Trek films now.
I've never
giving me more things to
watch through.
Giving me more things to watch. I have no time to watch these things.
I'm thinking that. Sorry.
So I feel like we should probably talk a little bit more about the ending of it.
No, I like it.
Do you know what my final note on this was?
Mm-hmm.
Cry.
Just chapter 34 with a crying face.
Yeah.
So this was where Lisa, literally, the conversation with Lisa goes, her saying that she's only got like an hour and 15 minutes left of the audiobook, and I said, oh, well, I'm expecting tears to come soon then. She's like, and then she said, I'm scared. And I'm like, you should be. And then I got a message back saying, I made it to chapter 33. It's like,
I was so proud of myself. I'm like, we're near the end. Got like 50 pages after I read. Like, I'm not crying yet. Fuck you.
So, did you see it coming at all? Yeah.
I'm nodding as though the first time I read it.
No.
I knew something was going to happen to one of them.
Yeah.
On that planet.
Something has to, something needs to build up for this, because the problem is that where it was heading, it was like, where is this going to end, like, to make you want to come back for the next book? And it's like, oh, that's how, there we go.
And I thought something might happen in, like, you know, I thought it might happen to Scarlet out of all of them because obviously it's the twin thing. And so I thought maybe she might get injured, like, or like abducted by when everything was being like really eerie and shit. And I was like, oh, maybe like it's going too well and you know it's too quiet or whatever. And then someone's gonna get abducted or whatever. And that was gonna be a whole like we need to get a Scarlet back situation. And that's why they end up. I ends on a cliffhanger, like they don't know what actually has happened to her or something. But it turned out to be some fucking poisonous hive mind type plant creature thing that infects you with the what the fuck? What kind of fucked up human being thinks of that as a way to kill someone? Well, not really kill him. She's kind of half alive, and most.
I was going to say these sorts of people.
I'm just like, what happened to you as a child? I'm sorry, but seriously,
Jay Kristoff book.
You read Nevernight. And the
it's disturbing. Like this guy was clearly never loved as a child. Like he's got all this.
No, this is the thing. Like he talks about his parents a lot on social media. They're lovely people. he mentions his mum in the.
What happened to you as a child, Jay Kristoff?
In the annotations of Nevernight, it says that like his mum reads everything that is written, and he has to tell her to not read the smut chapters.
Oh, doesn't he like post-it note the chapters that she can't read?
Yeah.
Oh, like I just want to like ask them if they're okay, if they need a bit of therapy. I can't help pay for it, but I think you might need it. Like, who's the like? What in the world? And then the whole like, I don't know. Even when she got infected and they found out that her suit had been open and the paws had got in, and it was like, oh my god, it's the paws! I was like,
the moment that suit got compromised, I was like, well, that suit's gonna die.
But I thought they were going to do like a magical, convenient fix for it.
Convenient.
He does in my brain. I thought there was going to be a convenient fix, and then Scarlet was going to get hurt. Not that I want Scarlet to get hurt, but I thought it was going to be a twin thing. Not like, oh, and we finally admit we love each other, and it was like, oh yeah, I know. It was like, no, you know, but you didn't do about it. You didn't do about it, did you? Too fucking late now. She's dead.
Fun fact from Jem, I wrote out the lyrics for the opening to Firefly and had it on my wall at uni because I was an artist. It's actually illegal to skip the Attack on Titan openings because they're fire. It was beautiful, I tell you, pure art. Who hurt you, Jay? Who hurt you? Just realizing there's no good happiness. Right, so I'm just gonna say, so the end of this book like hits you quite hard. I will say I think the end of this book is the saddest sort of like ending of them. But the end of the next book is the one where you will be very, very glad that you can pretty much immediately start book 3.
If you tell me Space Legolas hurts himself or dies, I'm going to be right into Jay Kristoff and telling him my thoughts.
The next book, it's more to do with the cliffhanger that it leaves you on. You are like, excuse me, I need to know what happens immediately.
Again, if it's anything that happens to Space Legolas, I'll be having words with Mr.
I mean, she's obviously not going to say.
I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying that.
It's
fine.
I'm kind of thinking I might wait until nearer the end of May so that I can read it, do the live show, and then start Aurora's End.
I would recommend it. So like I said, I read the first one. So like wanted to read the second one, but like I got it as soon as it came out, and then I just wasn't in the mood to pick it up. But I was fine with that because it was like although like this is sad at the end, it wasn't like a cliffhanger like I needed to see what happened immediately. Yeah. Whereas the second one is very much like something happens right at the very end, and then it's like, oh what, how, why? And then is when the tagline came out, the third one as well, which I will talk about in the next live show, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm wondering what they're doing here. And it was some of the like the brief, because it was very vague synopsis for the third one, but like there were bits in it I was like, I'm intrigued here, because it's one of my favorite sort of sci-fi tropes. So I wanted, as soon as I sort of put together that I was like, this is probably a thing that's going to happen in the third one, I was like, I need to read this immediately, which is why I was very, very happy that I read them back to back. So if you can try and read them back to back, I would try.
Character-wise, the people I don't want anything to happen to are Zila, Cal, and Finian.
I thought you were going to be like Tyler, Scarlet, Orange.
I wish I could name them all except Tyler.
I mean, you say it gets better. I might feel differently at the end of book 2, like coming to the end of book 3. But at the moment, I love Cal. Not Tyler. Fuck off, Cal. Finian. Zila.
Have you looked at the covers of book 2 and 3 at all? So do you know who's on the cover of book 3? Because that can give you an idea of somebody that survives at least until book 3.
Yes.
I'm not saying they're definitely going to be alive at the end, but
is there a reason why is there and not Tyler? Does Tyler die? You can't tell me this. But
I can't tell you anything.
Well,
I love the fact that he's on the cover of the last book because he's my favourite.
I mean, there's not enough books in the series for each character to have a cover.
I did find, to be honest, though, when the covers got revealed, everyone was very, very excited that Finian was on the cover of the third one. But everyone was very much like, so we've had Ori, that makes sense because it's Aurora Rising. Why would you not have Tyler on one of the covers? Because he's like technically the main character. Everyone was a bit confused.
Because nobody likes him as much as they like Finian.
I feel like with Tyler, he might be like the main character, but he's not the main character. He's not the main character that people want.
No.
So no, he's like probably the most boring of all of them. Sorry, Tyler. Don't hate you, I promise.
You're just not Finian or Cal.
Exactly.
Or Zila. You're just not. You're not the vibe.
These books are inspired.
And 2023 is the year of the vibe.
Magical, it's sci-fi.
Do you know what I mean? I want things to magically just conveniently wrap up well, and then I'll just be like, that was a convenient ending. Because I'm a bitch like that, but I'm just saying, I don't like the resurrection trope, but when I like a character, you need to bring them back.
Yeah, I mean, Aurora's End, like, I think though, because it's the last book in the series, like, you expect it to have some sadness in it. Like, I think what it is in this one is that you're not expecting it. Like, it's you obviously, like you said, when you get to that planet, you're sort of like, oh, there's something's going to happen here, but you're still not like, because it is so late in the book as well. Like,
it's in the first book.
Suddenly happen.
Right.
Like,
no, I knew it was going to happen because it's a J. Kristoff book, and I've never got through any J. Kristoff books without it breaking me at least once.
It was the first J. Kristoff book that I like, other than Illumine, which I didn't love. That this was the first like proper one that I read. So,
I mean, J. Kristoff doesn't ever kill a character off in the first book in a series ever.
See, the thing is, like, with some authors, I like them to be convenient. I like everything to wrap up and everything to magically be okay. Sarah J. Maas, I'm looking at you. And even fair to an extent. But where J. Kristoff is concerned, even though I know it's going to break me, I don't want everything to wrap up nicely. I don't want it to be a completely happy ending where everyone makes it out alive, because it wouldn't feel like a J. Kristoff book.
Yeah, I do get that. I do get it. But in my I love and I love everything that turns out happy in the end heart, like, it was like, yeah, I don't want to like it. But also, yeah, it wouldn't be very J. Kristoff if, people didn't.
Some sunshine and rainbows and everyone's happy and alive.
Yeah, people didn't die a horrible death of being taken over by a poisonous plant. It's fine, I'm fine.
Usually it does give you like a nice balance though. Like, it tends to give you something like, it's not neatly tied up, but it's not completely miserable either. Like, there is a nice balance in it.
Yeah, you've got space like glass and weird vision lady.
And again, like, from what I know of Amy Kaufman's other books, and this is sort of just secondhand knowledge because Meg really likes them, like, her books do tend to, I think, generally be a bit happier in general. So you have to remember that she's got an influence in here as well.
Is that where the romance? I bet she did Callan or Ori romanced in Chet, and Chris was like, "Nah, kill off that. You're killing off that
one." So probably.
So you can have your romance, but I'm killing off this bitch.
Lisa has actually no one will answer.
I messaged her about AOT, Attack on Titan last night, and she's just like, yes, great question. Yeah. Also, yes, she's a character.
For the first time, I don't know the answers to the question.
I do.
like when you read Illumina and that, I'm going to be in the comments like, I know the answers to your questions, but I'm not going to tell. But I've not read past this book.
And because I'm a basic bitch, I am behind on everything, and I know nothing about anything. None of the series that I am reading in any of the book clubs and read-along things that I'm a part of have I read before, I don't think.
When we get
Oh,
to
no,
the you've read that. That's the only
Yeah,
one.
but Dark Shade of Magic was the only series that I've read all the way through. But other than that, and obviously individually I'd read Adileru. But like when it comes to series, I'm just behind on everything, so everything is new to me, and I feel scared.
So you should be.
Tad emotional.
It's nice that I can actually, when we read the second book, I can give theories on the third book because I won't have to be thinking about what I'm saying.
Well, this brings me very well to because I feel like we're kind of wrapping this up now. What are your theories for the next book?
I mean, it could.
I mean, the title is Aurora Burning, so see, make what you will of that.
Pain.
Yeah. One thing we do know is gonna bring the pain. Can you smell what the rock is cooking? I feel like I don't know. A dad's gonna be involved in more in it. He's gonna be more like daddy issues coming up. And that's all I really have a theory about. And I don't know if I want a Finian and Scarlet or a Finian and Tyler. I think I probably want a Finian.
Not like he can be like torn between like, let's go on a date with this one. Let's go on a date with this one.
It just just very much like it's just that those two can never go on a date with each other. There's a whole wrong.
Yeah, no, please, no, Marius, no, we don't like that.
Call it poly, but not a throuple.
We can switch between them. But yeah, I do want to see more of Finian though. Like I want to know more about his backstory and although his sassy side, I liked seeing his bit more vulnerable side near the end of the first book as well.
I will say, like from what I remember when I finished the first one, like what my main sort of things I wanted to find out more about was clearly there's a lot of stuff like we don't know that much about Cal. Like we know some stuff, but clearly there's a lot of backstory with like what his people's backstory is,
like a whole werewolf mated bond thing.
Yeah, there's like you sort of slowly finding out more and more about that. But like I think there's a lot more still to learn there. I mean, I know there's a lot more still to learn there, but like that was what I wanted to find out at the end of the first one. And Finian, it was sort of like the ones who kind of weren't human, who was like, oh, I don't know about these ones yet, and like what their people are actually like.
But we don't know if Aura's actually human because she shouldn't have those visions, should she? And he shouldn't be. Is she just an anomaly? He shouldn't be attracted to humans, and he definitely shouldn't have that bond with a human.
My theory, okay, so I've just remembered, my theory on how Aurora is the way she is because she was in the fold for so long. And it's like affected her that way. And the fact that she was like, pulled out of the like freeze a bit too soon. And that's affected her because she was human. She was human. She was on Earth. Mm-hmm. With loads of other humans. Huh?
Because she had been experimented on. I don't know.
Something's clearly happened at some point, but yeah, we did.
She's connected to the. She's connected to the.
We saw her sister. We saw the argument with her dad, and like you saw all of that. So like there was definitely like human beginnings, but then it's figuring out how she's become.
Yeah. So it's all very intriguing, and I do love it, but also. I'm gonna do a Becca, I think, and just gonna leave it till the end of the month.
Yeah.
See, I said that, but now I'm kind of tempted because I've just seen that Ash wants reactions, and I am staying at hers for a week, so I might take it with me and read it at hers, which is not the end of the month; it's the middle of the month.
Ooh, good luck.
Becky, you should watch Attack on Titan. No one is safe.
I mean, I hadn't told you this, but it's on my list, Gem.
Can I have reactions to the next book, please?
You can.
That's because we don't read series. We buy them and look at them and on ourselves, but we don't read them.
I think, I'm not saying this because we all like similar things, but I think, Becca, you will really like Attack on Titan, because that is definitely a series where nobody is safe. You are literally scared shitless for everyone that you remotely come attached to. And it's just lots of death, but it was just, there's so many fun characters in there as well. I think you really enjoy it. I think Smash might like it as well.
Asha's just sent me her reaction to your theories, by the way.
Smashly!
Also, something to do with the book, just like how it looks. I love how like my series is like not matching, but still nicely matching, because I've got the Illumicrate version of the first one, and then the second one, the Illumicrate was blue, and I hated the blue. So I got the Forbidden Planet, which was yellow, because I thought it looked really nice with yellow. And then for the Aurora's End, I've just got standard Waterstones because it was green, and I was like, I don't want any other variation of this. I want green.
I just have standard for free.
So I have a mishmash, but it still works because they didn't change the cover; they just changed the colorway, which I liked.
You just need to spray the edges for the green one.
Oh, I'm going to. I didn't tell you.
Maybe this is why she didn't tell you, because this is the reaction.
Because now it's putting pressure on me.
She's going to send you the link to the website now and be like, here you go. Just in case you want to watch.
Is there anything else that anyone particularly wanted to mention?
No.
I know there's been, like, with this book, it's sort of, like, just been more, like, talking about the characters who we like, stuff like that, but I feel like that's what this book is. It's very much just a setup and getting to know them. Like, there's so much more that comes out about, like, the world building side of it in the second and the third one. I think this series for me gets better as it goes along.
This is another character thing, but when Finn pretends he's just going to leave them,
yeah.
I was like, Finn, what are you doing? It's like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm like, I love you.
He's like, you thought I was going to leave. Yeah, he's great. Oh, God.
I love him.
I don't actually know when the next live show is going to be or whose channel it's going to be on, because I think it's Catherine's. Catherine couldn't be here tonight, so she is planning on being back for the second one. And I think it'll be on her channel. We haven't discussed the date yet, but it'll be sometime in early June when we can figure out a day that works for all of us, because, I mean, somebody is on every read along going and somebody else is on two of them. So
I don't know what you mean. I'm fine.
I'm definitely still fine. Go watch you. Need no pressure if you don't like it. Totally cool. Totally cool. Cool.
Cool. No.
Right.
Oh, fucking hell.
I, for some reason, do not believe Jem.
She's gonna message you like, cool. You get a Brooklyn Nine-Nine meme. Like, cool.
So I think that is pretty much everything we had to discuss. But like I said, we will try and have. I will definitely try and have more coherent thoughts in the next live.
I'm not gonna go read it now. I'm sorry.
I mean, I wouldn't. Like, I really would not recommend that you read it right this very second, because you will then have to wait a while to read book 3.
Will this be my face? This will be my face.
I mean, some people had to wait like a long time to read book 3. But
I feel like that's going to be her face if she reads it now and realizes, oh, I've got to wait a whole month.
Also, just a question. Have you read everything for all of your other read-alongs at the minute? There we go. I'm going to... Oh, no. Well,
next question.
Now she told us already.
I did notice that I've not been getting any updates for Ghost of the Shadow Market past the...
I saw she rated that today on...
yeah, I have... I'm sorry. I was engrossed. I was that engrossed. I forgot to take notes. I started taking notes in the first couple of stories, and I was just like, oh, Jen. Oh, Jem. Fucking Lily. Lily's just the best.
Okay, not
Sorry.
wrong live show.
I'll message you.
Ashley's daring you to read it now.
No.
I wish you practically horizontal. Okay. And on that note, we're gonna go. But thank you for joining us. And like I said, we'll post it on the Twitter and the Discord when the next live show is. And I can't wait to see your reactions to the rest
Peace
of
out,
it. Bye.